everyone. So I thought I would do a video on how to relactate, or what I've done to be able to relactate, and give some tips, hints, advice, that type of stuff for anyone that's interested in giving it a try, because a lot of people actually don't know that you can relactate. It's a long process and it takes a lot of work, but most of the time you can relactate. So first and foremost would be you gotta pump, and pump some more. So my suggestion would be to rent a hospital grade breast pump, or get a really good breast pump from a retailer in your area. So for example, the Pump and Style by Medela. And that's actually how I started. I started off with my Pump and Style by Medela, and I pumped every hour for, I'm gonna say, 15 minutes. I didn't do it for very long. Sometimes it would be less, because I didn't want to hurt my nipples very much, because they were already kind of sore and raw from starting to pump again. It kind of felt like nursing all over. So sorry, my nose is itchy. So that's the first thing you want to do, is start pumping every hour, every 2 hours, for at least 10, 20 minutes at the most. And anytime you get, say even it hasn't been an hour yet and you have a chance and you can pump, even if it's for 3 or 5 minutes, not even, do it. It will help tons. So I didn't start noticing a difference in producing breast milk until I think a week into doing it, and that was I ended up going every 2 hours pumping instead of every hour. I did the every hour pumping sessions for about, I'm going to say, 4 days, and then I started every 2 hours. You want to start taking, I'm going to say, talk to your doctor or your healthcare provider about herbs and medications that you can take, and if it's safe for you and your child to take. So I'm not a doctor, and I'm not saying you should be taking these things, but it's a suggestion of something that will help you produce breast milk. And so I started off by taking fenugreek, which is a herb known to help produce breast milk in women. And blessed thistle, which is in combination with the fenugreek, is supposed to help the fenugreek more, and that's also good. I'm also taking a mother's, I think it's milkmaid tea is what it's called. So they're just tea bags with fennel seed, fenugreek, some other herbs in it that are supposed to help with nursing and producing breast milk. So that's another suggestion of something you could try. There is a prescription drug that you can get. It's called domperidone, and it also is supposed to help with producing breast milk. And I think, because I know sometimes in the United States you can't get domperidone, some doctors won't prescribe it, and I don't want to say it's illegal, but it's not approved. Is it the FDA? Don't quote me on that. Hasn't approved it for being used as a lactation aid, but you can usually find it. So you'll have to talk to a doctor about that and do some research and see if it's something that you can take. So there's that, and that's what else I'm taking. And I think there's also another one. It's called Reglan. I'm not 100% sure if I'm pronouncing that properly, but that's something else. And I think there's another one that starts with an M, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to put a whole bunch of information down below of different things you can take. Another thing I do is I eat oatmeal. You okay? I eat oatmeal. He's in the mood to jump. I eat oatmeal every day for breakfast. So not the quick oats. I eat the oatmeal that you kind of have to cook for a while to finally be able to eat it. and that's supposed to help. And brewer's yeast is another thing that is supposed to help, and you can either drink a dark beer, or there's I think mother's milk cookie recipe that you can use brewer's yeast and oatmeal and all that stuff in it, and that's supposed to help as well. There's a whole bunch of other foods that help, and I'll put a link down below as well. Even if you want to up your supply and you're nursing already, it's another thing you can try too. What else? What else do I do? So I'm pumping a lot. A good thing to know is between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. is a good time to pump. So if you can get a pumping session in that time, it would be great, because that's when you usually produce more at that time. And eating and drinking a lot. So you want to be eating, like, I think I've upped my food intake to, I feel like I'm eating for 3 people sometimes. And I have big, huge meals. You want to get your protein, you want to get your fruits and vegetables, and then drinking water, lots and lots and lots and lots of water. I usually have an Nalgene bottle that has the measurements of water on the bottle, so I can kind of keep track of how much I'm drinking. So I drink about, I'm going to say about a liter and a half of water a day, sometimes even more if I'm thirsty. And because water and food is a major thing as well, and that will help get your milk supply to even be more nutritious and be higher in all those vitamins and minerals and all that kind of good stuff, the fats. So you want to do that, and I know it's hard eating and drinking and finding the time to do that when you have a little one, especially when you have more than one child, but that is a very important thing to do. I found that when I started to relactate, I put all housework aside, and it took, I guess, the back seat. And I stopped. I don't want to say I didn't stop doing housework, I just didn't make it my priority to do housework. So if there's dishes that needed to be cleaned, they could wait until I pumped, or something needed to be swept, or something needed to be washed, that kind of thing. Kind of like when you first bring a newborn home from birthing, or from the hospital where you've birthed, and your main priority is yourself and the baby. That's what you kind of want to do. So your main priority is yourself, your child, and pumping and relactating. As well as if your child is still young enough that it can latch on to your breast and nurse, a good thing to do is when they want to pacify themselves, say at nap time or at nighttime, that's a good time to latch them on and let them pacify. And it'll make it so being at the breast is a good thing instead of a bad thing, and they're not being forced. A good thing to do is, if they will latch on, have them at the breast as much as possible as well, because that will help with your milk supply and relactating. Or you can get an SNS, which is a supplemental nursing system, which is a tube that you can either tape near your nipple, and when they latch and draw in your nipple and areola, that tube will be pulled into their mouth as well, and it's just a tiny little tube, and you fill the bottle that the tube is coming from with formula or breast milk, whichever you prefer, and they'll be able still to be, it's kind of like nursing. I don't want to say it's fake nursing, but it acts as like you're nursing even though you don't have any supply. And so that's another good thing to do. You can also get just a normal tube and cut off the top of the nipple of a bottle and stick the tube in there and put whatever you want in there. But the Medela actually makes one, and any pharmacist would be able to order it for you. Or if you talk to your Leche League leader for your area, they should be able to point you in the direction of where you can get one from, or even just a different one. So that's another thing I would suggest, is if you can have your child at the breast to nurse, try and do that. Fortunately, my son is too old. He's 5.5 months, and he hasn't been at my breast since I'm gonna say he was about Yeah, he hasn't been at the breast since about, I'm gonna say 6 weeks old. No, 4 weeks old, 4 or 5 weeks old. So he has no idea what to do. He doesn't know how to open his mouth at my breast. He doesn't know that food might come out of there. And I've tried the pacifying at nap time, and no, he's too used to his pacifier, and he's smart. For being his age, he knows that when the bottle's shown, that's where his food comes from. So I'm just a pumper, and I give him express breast milk in a bottle. So I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything else. Pumping a lot, those herbs and prescription drug, having your baby at the breast. I think that's about pretty much it. If you find that you hit a wall, and you're only producing a certain amount for quite a long time, and you're not going up and you're not increasing, it could either mean that your prescription drug, you might need more of it, or you can do power pumping sessions, which is kind of like you're kind of acting like a baby's cluster feeding at your breast. So you're gonna pump every hour, like you first started off with, or any second you get, you want to pump. And so that's another thing. And sometimes it will up your supply, not a whole lot. When I did it, I only noticed maybe an ounce increase. But I mean, hey, an ounce is better than nothing, right? So that's another thing to keep in mind if you hit a wall and you're not going up anymore. Some mothers will not produce enough for their child with just pumping alone. So just prepared for that and don't be disappointed. But relactation is a very, very long process, and it's very, very hard, and it's very, very time consuming. And your social life and getting out and doing things will kind of lack in that area. But if you're well prepared for that, you might be able to get through that. But there is many times where I've wanted to give up on trying to relactate and just pumping, because I'm stuck at my pump all the time. It's kind of like nursing, where you're stuck and you have somebody stuck on you, and you don't have your body back, and blah 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 blah. So my body my boobs belong to my breast pump. So it is, yeah, like I said, it's very time consuming. Pretty much sums up the whole process. So if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below, and I'll get back to you. And I'm going to leave some helpful links down below as well in the description box of just information on how to relactate and foods that will help you, the herbs, the prescription drugs, and so on and so forth. And if you want to subscribe to me on my YouTube channel, I have a few relactation videos that I've done of my process and so on and so forth, and where I'm at today. I know, we're gonna go. We're almost done. Okay, so I will talk to you guys later. And Dagny's saying bye, and he's getting antsy. Yep. He's like, I want to jump. Okay, bye guys.